Hi, this is Daniel Ryan with Odessa After Dark for the week of December 30th, 2013. On this episode of Odessa After Dark, Eric Juarez will interview local magician Jack Pallick, and I will speak to Carl Rogers, former investigator for Ector County Sheriff's Department, about the unsolved murder of Mary Kathleen Rodriguez, who was brutally beaten to death 23 years ago this week. Now, the story on Mary Kathleen Rodriguez. This week we look into the unsolved murder case of Mary Kathleen Rodriguez, who was found brutally murdered on December 30th, 1990. She was found at the home that she worked in as a full-time live-in assistant and nanny by Mr. Billy Joe Vincent, who called the police, and she was pronounced dead about 10:30 that Sunday evening. No one has ever been charged in this case, even though there was a person of interest. I asked Carl Rogers, who was formerly the lead investigator of homicide for Ector County, about this case, and this is some of the responses that he had and recollections.
Not specifically. I can make the comment that certainly at the time of the investigation we had a person of interest in this case. Trying to figure out how far I can go. She lived with a family. She was a live-in domestic person. Took care of the house, took care of the kids, that sort of thing, and lived in the house with the family. The family was gone. We got called out there on the night of the 30th in the evening. We found her. She was set for an autopsy, determined that it was blunt force trauma. We had an opportunity to talk to the boyfriend that night, but the family that lived in the house was out of town for the Christmas holidays, and had been out of town for several days. She had also been deceased for several days. And as a result of all of that, we developed a person of interest that we dealt with, but in that line of work, what you know and what you improve are not all the same things. And that's kind of where we wind up getting to. As far as frustration, you don't ever want to leave one of those behind, and it is frustrating, and that frustration never goes away. I mean, I can remember details of that case today, and it was just about this time of night that we were out there, and I can remember details of what I saw in there, and what was evidence and what was not. But I mean, to this day, she had her mother. I'd been in touch with her mother during the time that was going on. Her mother, if my memory is right, her mother lived out of state, a long way out of state, and she had actually come in here on one occasion, and we visited for quite a while. But she didn't, Mary Kathleen didn't seem to have a lot of friends. She didn't seem to have a lot of family anywhere. She just, for all purposes that I saw, she appeared to be a very hard-working, kind of stay to herself, kind of person. And we found a couple of people that have been former co-employees with her, co-workers with her at different places. She wasn't, a flamboyant person. She wasn't a person that had, she didn't have much, she didn't have a lot. She worked, one of her jobs was, she worked in a convenience store business. And then she worked in this, in this type of job. So she wasn't flamboyant, she wasn't, she had a boyfriend, she had a mother, she had acquaintances, few acquaintances. And that was really about, it. But at the same time, that, and I don't remember there being any criminal history on her part. I don't remember her ever, being in any kind of trouble. She didn't seem to be that type of person. The very, all circumstances are different. You deal with what you're dealt, in the investigation. And, if you got somebody that's got lots of friends and lots, they're out and about all the time, and, then you've got a lot of different people with different versions of it, with different, different views of this person. But in that case, we only had a handful. We only had, just 3 or 4 that seemed to, really know anything about her at all, and most of them didn't know much. And I don't even remember. I'm sure I knew at one time. I don't even remember now how she managed to get to Odessa, how she got here. Because her mother was from out of state, and I don't remember. I can't remember what brought her here. That was a that was a tough case. That was a brutal case. But, somebody obviously that had some rage involved. There was no belief on my part that it was a random attack. She was very vulnerable with that family at the time. The case has never been closed because on homicide there's no statute of limitations. So, the case is filed away in a cold case area, whatever you want to call it. But it doesn't take anything for anybody to go in there and pull that case and relook at it. And there are new people working in that job now that I was in at the time. The more eyes you have on something, the more people that look at it. If somebody went in there and looked at it today, they may see it from a different view. They may having not been there and not, seeing it, knowing exactly what they saw or whatever, they may have a different overview of it from photographs and from everything else. And, there may be something in there, nobody's infallible, so, there may be something in there that somebody else would see. I know that case has been looked at by other people at other times, but, maybe it just never has been looked at by the right person. But that, that's always important. Anytime, I can't speak for what they do now or how it's done now, but, anytime that we had extra time, that we weren't in the middle of some other investigation that had come along, that's what we were always doing, was going back and re-looking at the cold cases, trying to, see if, over a little bit of time we might see something different, we might have a different version of it. So, I would hope that agencies would continue, whether it's that case or whether it's, who's ever, Valerie or whoever, that they would continually have somebody else, have new people looking at it.
As Carl said, Mary Kathleen didn't know many people in the area. She had a boyfriend, and she had the family that she lived with who were out of town at the time that she was murdered. Somebody with a lot of rage went into that house and took her life from her, either by a baseball bat or some other item, and basically, unfortunately, beat her face in. And so this case is really an upsetting case because there's nobody left in Ector County to really speak up for Mary Kathleen. And so somebody somewhere knows something, And so we're asking you to call CrimeStoppers. Even the slightest memory or tip that you have about Mary Kathleen could help this case. And so let's not let Mary Kathleen's death go unsolved and unpunished. Every murder case does deserve some end, even though we can't bring back Mary Kathleen. And now Eric with his interview of Jack Pallick and some tricks that he does to amaze us all.
Hi, I'm Jack Pallick. I've been doing magic for 12 years. I do a lot of birthday parties, all kinds of events. I've taught kids college for 4 years at Midland College, and I just do all kinds. And I do either close-up or I do a lot of birthday parties, and I've done company picnics and just about anything you could imagine. I even did a wedding, which is very unusual for a magician. They wanted me to entertain the kiddos while the activities were going on, and I did, and it seemed to work out okay.
And how many years have you been a magician?
12 years. 12 years.
And what inspired you to become a magician?
Well, actually, when I retired after 30 years in advertising, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I really didn't. But I had an older sister, and she said, "You know, when you were little, you used to like magic." And I said, "Yeah, you're right." So that's when I started. I bought a couple of tricks and practiced and so on. When I was little, I really did like magic, and some of the kids I teach at kids college really are into it, and they want to follow through. This year at kids college, I taught 96 kids magic. A lot of kids. I had three classes, 16 in the class, and that's the first session, and then the same thing the second. So if you add all those up, it's 96. That's a lot of kids. I really enjoy it.
And growing up as a kid, was there any special magician that you looked up to?
Well, back then it was one of the greatest, which was I'm having a senior moment. The one that hangs upside down and all that years ago, and Houdini. I'm sorry. That he was my inspiration, and every Christmas my folks would get me a magic set and so on, and I would play with it. But then when I grew up and got jobs and so on, I didn't do it for years. I stopped doing magic because I had other things, raised a family and so on, but this is ideal. Magic for me, I'm busy on weekends, but during the week I'm not, because most birthday parties and so on are on weekends. So it's ideal for a retired person, it really is, and I really enjoy it.
And in your career as a marketing, did you ever think of incorporating magic with your marketing?
No, not really. No. I just I guess I just blew it off or whatever. When I was in advertising, and you ought to see my van. I don't know if you saw it out there. It's Magic by Jack. It's really, you maybe need to get a picture of that. It's a traveling billboard. And I get a lot of, I'll be at Walmart's and people come up to me and, "Hey, let me have one of your cards. What do you charge for a birthday party?" and so on. So I get a lot of business from that. I was in the billboard business, and to me, you can't get your name out too much. You really can't.
And Jack, as a magician, I know magicians are always looking forward to learning the best trick ever, being the best magician out there. And then as a magician, is there any special trick that you're trying to master or learn?
I've been working on levitation for years. Chris Angel, you've all heard of Chris Angel. He levitates and so on. It's really tough to do. I would like to accomplish it, but so far I haven't. That's the biggie.
And since you're still looking forward to being a better magician, what's your goal as Because I know you have this as your job, which is your profession, and then also you do this for fun. So what do you take out of it?
Well, when I do a show, and it's really a fun magic show, I use a lot of volunteers and so on. I get out of it. I try to entertain the adults as well as the kids. So when I'm done doing the show, I get more compliments from even the adults saying, "That was great. What a show." So over 12 years, I finally put a good show together, and I enjoy it, and the kids and the parents do too. Every time there's a birthday party, naturally the parents come, all their cousins and uncles and so on. So usually the average birthday party I do is anywhere from 50 to 100 people. So it's it's pretty good size. It's a favorite. It's the kids really. This is the favorite trick with the kids. So if I could get a volunteer. I have two sponge balls. I'm going to take one, put it in my hand right there. I'm going to take one, open your hand, close it. We have one there and one there, right?
Yes.
On a count of 3, we're both going to open at the same time. 1, 2, 3.
Hey!
Yeah, the kids really like that one. This is cups called cups and balls. Where you have 3 cups. 1 cup, 2 cups, 3 cups, and 3 balls. I'm going to take this ball, put it on top of that cup, and make it go through onto the table. There it is. Now I'm going to take, this one, make it go through, and there should be 2 there. Now I'm going to take the third one, make that go through, and there should be 3. There they are. This is called a ball and vase. I have a ball and a vase. I'm going to take the ball and put it in my pocket. Now I'm going to make that ball reappear. Now I'm going to make it disappear. Now I'm going to take the ball out of my pocket and put it back. Tell me.
Tell you?
Tell me.
2.
2. T-W-O. You pick pink. Now they're all pink.
Well, do it again?
A magician never does the same trick twice because you may catch me next time. I have 3 ropes. A short rope, a medium rope, and a long rope. I'm going to make them all the same length. But I still have a short rope, a medium rope, and a long rope.